Hello everyone, my name is C.Greene and I am an MBA student at Mount Vernon Nazarene University. I have worked in the Ontario branch of the YMCA Child Care Department for about a year. I started there in September of 2012 and I stopped working there in October of 2013 due to personal reasons. I do hope to go back for a part-time opportunity back in the summer, but for right now I'm not working there anymore. I mostly worked with school-age children from ages 5 to 12. I have also worked in the preschool rooms and in the infant and toddler rooms, but my focus is more on the school-age children. Working there has been really rewarding, and I've learned quite a lot from my experience there. As short as it was, I did learn quite a bit. I had many different experiences there. Most notable was when we were coming back outside from the playground and two of the boys got into an argument. I heard shouting and I turned around only to see one of the boys had his shoe off and was about to throw it at the head of one of the other boys. And so I stepped right in and I stopped the argument, and come to find out they're brothers. So, I had a good long talk with their mom about their behavior and everything was fine after that. But aside from that instance, it was really a great opportunity for me to work with kids and learn some new things that I hadn't previously known about working with kids. But that can get a bit crazy from time to time. The next 3 years that we're looking at can really, really change the growth of the Ontario branch of the YMCA and in the YMCA in general. We want to, first of all, create a more secure environment for the kids. Right now, we don't have that, and I know that it's a concern for both the parents and for the staff that work there. We also need to expand the center in physical size and enrollment size. We need better qualified teachers to be recruited and hired in order to be a competitive program in the area. All of these changes cannot be addressed without learning a bit about the Step Up to Quality program in Ohio. This is a state-funded program in which participation is voluntary. So this is not mandatory, and it's not a program where everyone needs to participate, but it is a program that can benefit the center, the child care center in the area. The benefits from this program are worth going through the qualification process. And the qualification process is pretty lengthy. You need a lot of time and effort that goes into this, but when you do get a star rating, then it really is worth it. Each center is rated with a 1, 2, 3, or 4-star rating, and this depends on the center's educational, safety, and health factors. So there are different factors that go into how many stars your center can get, and there are quite a few centers in the area who don't have any stars as of yet. Presently, the Ontario branch of the YMCA has a 1-star rating. A higher number of stars means the center is above qualified and above average than other centers that are similar to it. Each additional star creates the opportunity for more funding, which can then be used to make the necessary improvements to the center, whether it means more enrollment or a better size of the center or things like that. The Ontario branch of the YMCA is really busy and usually has a waiting list. So this is a benefit to the Ontario branch because there's always kids that need care, and parents are willing to wait for that. They're willing to wait for as long as possible to get a spot for their children, because usually once a spot opens up, a parent will immediately jump into that spot, and if they need to be on a waiting list for months and months, they'll do that in order to get into our center. So already it's being recognized as one of the better centers in the area. Our center follows very strict student-to-teacher ratios. The small ratios mean that students get more one-on-one time with the teachers, and this increases their learning opportunities. For infants and toddlers, this is great because a lot of times, you have a center with not very good numbers, and you'll have infants and toddlers that don't get the attention that they need and deserve. And so with our center, every child is taken care of individually, and we can talk to the parents and let them know what is going on with the kids, and if we have any concerns, we can address those concerns because we've been watching the kids. On the downside of the star rating program is that the star rating system can take quite a while to get through all the way up to a 4-star rating, which can be a bit detrimental to the program if the program cannot hire enough qualified staff. One of the requirements for the star ratings is that each staff has to have a certain number of qualifications in order to be able to move up the star rating system. And so, for example, if one of the teachers just came in, off, so to speak, off the street, trying to look for a job, they would be hired, but then they would have to go through the process of getting more certifications as far as first aid and safety qualifications in order to stay as a person employed in the system. In the child care program, there is also no real room for advancement, and this can be a deterrent to potential hires. So, once you're in the child care system, you don't really have a place to move up the ladder, so to speak. And so this can be a situation where people might not want to come work for the Ontario branch because they won't have any room for expansion. There have been people there for years and years and years, and they've been working in the same job, and they would like some sort of recognition for the work that they've done, and they're not getting that. And so this lowers employee morale. The Ontario branch of the YMCA, the location's small size, has also created a situation where the age groups are combined, which is not ideal, and the parents don't like that. There's not enough space to accommodate for separate classrooms for separate age groups. For instance, toddlers and infants are in the same classroom. This is not ideal again because toddlers run and they climb and they're not very gentle with the smaller children, and infants are learning to crawl and walk. And so they might be at a bit of a disadvantage when, they're trying to get around and one of the teachers has to move them to the side or try and get them in a safer area in the classroom where a toddler may not run or run them over. So this is a bit of a problem for parents because they want their children to be able to walk or to learn to walk in a safer area without being worried about them being knocked over by an older child. Excuse me. This can also be a hazard because the teachers have to make sure that they're observing things more closely than they already are. And this can be a problem sometimes because during lunch service or if they're making a bottle for one of the smaller children, they may not always have their eye on the classroom at all times, and so they might miss when a child gets knocked over, and so they won't know what's going on, and so a parent might not like that. The Ontario Centre also leases its space from a church. This church is open all day long, and the other programs use the space as well. Excuse me. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the church holds a thing called a clothes closet, and this is a place where people who are not well off, they can come and get free clothes from the church. And this is a great program for the church, but it creates kind of a hazard for the center because we have many people that are not associated with the center who come through our hallway because they're curious, and so they will come and loiter in the hallways, or they will use our bathrooms that are specifically designated for the child care, and this is not safe for the children. When we have school-age children in the building at the same time, they can go and use the bathroom whenever they want, and we have no way of knowing who is in the restroom at that same time, and that's why these restrooms are designated only for the child care. A lot of times people come in and they look at the sign, but they disregard it, and so they'll go and use the bathroom anyway. And this is not safe for the children because we don't know who these people are, and we have no way of controlling what happens in the restroom. And there have been an instance where a person was standing out in the hallway and he was just staring into the classrooms, and it made the staff incredibly uncomfortable and a bit afraid. And so this is not a safe situation for the parents, because if the parents walk in and see a person just standing there staring at their children, they won't feel that their children are safe anymore. And so they may even pull their children out of the program, and we can't have that. The Ontario area is full of job opportunities for working parents who in turn need childcare. Because of the central location of the childcare to restaurants and shops and places of business, the Ontario childcare has immense potential for growth. The size of the center right now, is working against it and is really deterring parents from coming in and enrolling their children there. And that's why we have such a big waiting list. Yes, having a waiting list is good because you always have the interest of parents, but the small size of the center means that there's less money to be made from children being enrolled in the program. And so it would really benefit the center to increase in size. This can also help add to the center's reputation as an excellent care source for the children of the area, since so many parents want their children to come to the Ontario branch of the YMCA. There are different ways of getting the center's name out in order to increase its name recognition and reputation. This can be done through the use of billboard advertisements, flyers, commercials, and an increased use of social media. Social media is huge right now, and better use of that would really help the center get its name out, because the location of the center, although it's centrally located, it is not easily accessible or seen from the street. And so using social media in the community would really help get the name out there to the public. Summer programs for the school-age students can also be advertised starting in May immediately, so that parents can see that their kids have a space to go where they will have a variety of safe and educational activities to do. An important step in the betterment of the center is for the Ontario branch director to begin a relationship with the director of the Early Childhood Education program at North Central State College. This relationship would be for the Ontario branch director to create job opportunities for graduates of the ECE program who would have more qualifications and experience to add to the prestige of the Ontario location. This added experience and qualifications would help the center earn a second and third and even fourth star rating with step up to quality in a shorter span of time. The relationship between the Ontario branch director and the ECE director at NC State would also help current YMCA childcare employees. Classes could be offered at discounts, as they already have been, except more discounts could be offered. And this would be as more YMCA employees enroll in the program. After completing each course, an incentive could be offered to each employee, such as a raise in salary or a deeper discount in childcare, and this would help increase employee morale and would help with employee retention rates. Currently, low wages combined with low morale are contributors to the high turnover rate in childcare employees of the YMCA. Higher qualified teachers would contribute to the achievement of additional star ratings for not just the Ontario branch, but the other branches as well. Additional stars create additional funding, and so additional funding would allow for additional classrooms to be built. And these two classrooms would be one for the toddlers and one for the younger preschool children. With the additional classrooms, the center would benefit from a better and more informative website. So parents would have an opportunity to look at daily schedules, their child's weekly progress, a clear line of communication with the teachers and the branch director, and a way to pay for services online. The additional business near the end of the third year of implementation would then open up the option of making the center more secure. This can be done by adding secure doors at the end of each hallway, and each door would only be opened with a key that the director would have access to, and also with a keypad in which a personalized PIN would be entered. The use of the PIN would be recorded on a computer system so the director could know who was in the center at a particular time. These changes will be time-consuming and will require employee participation, but the gains and rewards will be worth the time and the effort in the end. Thank you very much for your time.